Hi, and welcome to elPablo FC. And today, a manager has just been sacked, and barely 24 hours, he has been replaced. How things happen within a flash. And the question now lies, what is happening at Nottingham Forest? That is the question. What is happening at Nottingham Forest? Now, first and foremost, I'm going to talk about like the news with regards to just the press release from basically Nottingham Forest with regards to hiring Ange Postecoglou. Now, Nottingham Forest are delighted to confirm the appointment of Ange Postecoglou as the club's first team head coach. Postecoglou has been in management for over 25 years, arriving on Trent's side with experience of regularly competing and winning trophies at the highest level. After enjoying very successful seasons with Brisbane Roar and Yokohama F Marinos, winning the league with both clubs, and he was appointed manager of Celtic in June 2021. A successful tenure in Glasgow saw Postecoglou win the domestic double in his first season in Scotland and the treble in his second year, which earned him a nomination for the FIFA World Coach of the Year in 2023. Having moving to England to take over Tottenham Hotspur, who finished fifth in his first season, Postecoglou guided Spurs to their first major trophy in 17 years, winning the UEFA Europa League in 24-25 season and qualifying for the Champions League. Owner Evangelos Marinakis said of Postecoglou's appointment, "We are bringing a coach to the club who has a proven and consistent record of winning trophies. His experience of coaching teams at the highest level, along with his desire to build something special with us at Forest, makes him a fantastic person to help us on our journey to and achieve consistently all our ambitions. After gaining promotion to the Premier League, then building consistently season after season to secure European football, we now must take the right step to compete with the very best, with the very best and challenge for trophies. Ange has the credentials and track record to do this, and we are excited he is joining us on our ambitious journey. Now, we got to talk about this. We have to talk about this because what is happening? What has happened between Nuno Espírito Santo, a good manager who helped the club, in ways that everybody least expected, that they challenged so much so that they almost got Champions League last season. All of a sudden, Nuno Espírito Santo is sacked by Marinakis. Now, we're going to talk about it and basically just kind of break it down in ways. Now, this is the news as of yesterday. Nottingham Forest sacked Nuno Espírito Santo 3 games into the season, right? Nuno Espírito Santo leaves Nottingham Forest after leading the club to their best season of the 21st century. Like, he is the best manager they've had in the 21st century. The first managerial bombshell of 2025, obviously, 25-26 season. Albeit people thought that Ruben Amorim was going to be first, but it is what it is. But this one is undeserved, right? Premier League season has officially, the first managerial sack of Premier League has officially dropped. Now, Nottingham Forest sacked Nuno Espírito Santo during the early hours of Tuesday, September 9th. Now, the Portuguese manager joined Forest in December 2023. Right, and led the club to their first European competition berth since 1995-96, and in his only full season with the team last term. Nottingham Forest, obviously, this is the report that they put out there. Nottingham Forest, Nottingham Forest Football Club confirms that following recent circumstances, Nuno Espírito Santo has today been relieved of his duties as head coach, the club said in a statement. The club thanks Nuno for his contribution during the very successful era at the City Ground, in particular his role in the 24-25 season, which will forever be remembered fondly in the history of the club. As someone who played a pivotal role in our success last season, he will always hold a special place in our journey. Although it might appear like a shocking decision to fire a manager 3 games into the season, especially one that oversaw, the most successful season, this according to one of the reports that the team has ever witnessed in 30 years, it seemed like Nuno's departure was only a matter of time. Obviously, there have been things brewing. First and foremost, in the aftermath of the 24-25 season, growing tensions behind the scenes, saw Nuno's relationship with the club owner, Evangelos Marinakis, drastically deteriorate, something that the manager himself admitted during a stunning press conference. We're going to look at that press conference and kind of break it down and talk about it. Nuno Espírito Santo, this was around August 23rd, is at risk of Forest sack after major clash with Edu. Now, if you remember Edu was the football director for Arsenal, and he reportedly had clashes with Mikel Arteta. Now, Nuno Espírito Santo's future at Nottingham Forest is in doubt after a spectacular breakdown in communication behind the scenes, with reports claiming that he could be sacked before Sunday's game against Crystal Palace. Forest were the feel-good story of last season, spending a large part of the campaign in the Premier League's top 4 before ultimately securing a 6th place finish, which still blew expectations out of the water. But the mood has soured dramatically in recent weeks. Now, Matteo Moretto was first to reveal that Nuno's future at Forest was at risk, before the manager sat in front of the press conference and confessed that there was no smoke without fire. When asked about the rumors of a possible departure from the club, he said, I always had a very good relationship with the owner. Last season was very close, almost talking on a daily basis. Nuno explained, this season, not so well, but I always believe that dialogue and your opinion is always valid, because my concern is that the squad and the season that we have ahead of us, but our relations have changed. I'm being honest with you, I cannot say that is the same, because it's not the same. The reason behind it, I don't know. So obviously, and he says, I think everybody at the club should be together, but that it's not the reality. My job is always to try and anticipate what's coming ahead of us, and what I said with respect. And that's what I said with respect. The reality is that that is not what it used to be. It was good, respectful relationship, but more based on trust and sharing opinions. Now it's not so good. This was what Nuno Espírito Santo said. Now, according to the Telegraph, the presence of the new global head of football, Edu, has sparked the tensions between Nuno and club management, with manager publicly voicing his disappointments towards Forest's failure to build on last season's success. Talks are now being held about Forest's immediate response to Nuno's comments, and Sky Sports News adds that there is a possibility that he will not be in the dugout on Sunday. Now, Forest owner Evangelos Marinakis has been left baffled by Nuno's press conference, and there are even suggestions that the manager may be trying to force Forest into relieving him of his duty, which is also possible. But Nuno arrived at Forest in 2023 and quickly oversaw a reversal, of the club's declining fortunes. The former Wolverhampton Wanderers and Tottenham Hotspur boss has won 30 of 69 games in charge, but whether he reaches a 70th match in the dugout remains to be seen. So that was the news before it broke yesterday, that Nuno was sacked. At the time of watching this video, I'm watching it maybe like 48 hours later, but I had to do like a deep research to find out what was going on and all of that. Obviously, there were issues in the back burner, like there were issues in the back end that was causing a lot of rifts between Nuno and Edu, as well as the club owner, Evangelos Marinakis. And people are already beginning to say that he's a difficult person to deal with. What do you guys think? Because the Evangelos Marinakis, seems to be always involved in a lot of things. Yeah, because he's the club owner, he comes to the stadium, he shakes his players and gives them a handshake after winning games and stuff. And they had a very unique season last season. Doing well, even with their striker scoring goals, despite the fact that he's older and all of that. But then to now sack the manager who united the team together, and then you're just signing players left. Let me shock you. Forest signed 13 new players this season. I've done it in the Premier League transfer window review a few days ago. I talked about, I reviewed the transfer window of all Premier League teams. Forest signed 13 new players. 13. So, but, basically, now, and the reason why Edu left Arsenal to Forest is because Edu left Arsenal as director of football and has moved to Forest as the new global head of football, Eddie. Now, basically, if we're going to go deep into this, it was reported that Nuno had a major clash with Forest's new global head of football, Edu Gaspar, who landed at City Ground after spending half a decade, so 5 years, as Arsenal's first ever technical director. Many believed Nuno was going to be fired even before the 25-26 started, but he was on the touchline during the club's opening 3 games of the Premier League season, taking 4 points in total. Overall, Nuno leaves Forest having managed 73 games with a record of 32 wins, 26 losses, and 15 draws. According to Fabrizio Romano, Forest already had 3 candidates in mind to replace Nuno, including former Tottenham Hotspur boss Ange Postecoglou. And I already broke it down to you what has happened. In truth, it is very sad to see that this has happened. Basically, when you look at the situation on ground and you ask yourself, what could have caused the problem? And I think everybody already knows that Marinakis as a person is very difficult to deal with. Look at the signing of, I think, the player Morgan Gibbs-White that was supposed to go to Spurs, and then he convinced Morgan Gibbs-White to stay back, and obviously he signed a new contract extension, and everything was dandy. So what do you guys think? Because I feel so bad for Nuno. I think I have a fan response to this whole Nuno situation. I think someone responded by saying he feels bad. Okay, so this is from Douglas Critchley. Douglas Critchley on X. He said, got to feel bad for Nuno Espírito Santo this morning. This was, I think, as of yesterday. Sacked by Spurs after 17 games, a spell in Saudi Arabia, and takes over from the very popular Steve Cooper in December 2023 with Forest in 17th. Steers Forest to safety, improves them by 10 places and 33 points in 24-25 as they qualify for Europe for the first time in 29 years. Often working in challenging circumstances under a unique owner, he played a central role in establishing Forest as a Premier League side once again. Sure, he won't be short of offers throughout this season. I'm pretty sure that there will be another club that will be gunning for him. Maybe a club that will just sack the manager. I'm thinking even West Ham. Trust me, because Nuno Espírito Santo is a good manager. I mean, even if Nuno Espírito Santo is a good manager. He could have even been one of the managers or potential candidates to have come to Man United when Man United were doing away with players, because he's a kind of manager that does what they call system building. He builds a system, a team for the system. But it is what it is. He's a Portuguese manager. He's got, he's going to get offers. He's going to get clubs. In fact, especially clubs in the Premier League. I'm sure he'll come in the Premier League and he will show Forest how it is done. But also, Ange Postecoglou. You forget, basically, Forest fans will remember this for Spurs, because Ange Postecoglou had his time at Spurs, and he also had clashes. And Edu is a fiery figure, had issues with Arteta at some point, then moved to Forest. Him and Edu would clash eventually. We'll look at it, we'll review it in this channel very soon. Ange Postecoglou and Edu will clash. And the truth is, it's not far-fetched. It will happen. Because you can't be, I'm sure part of the things is the signing of players. Maybe players that Nuno Espírito Santo does not want. And then the clash that happened between him and Marinakis in the Premier League game last season, that everybody was like, why is Marinakis, meddling and stuff like that, coming on the pitch and stuff. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section, because the truth is, it's very difficult to have these kinds of conversations about, a manager who has worked so hard to build a team and then eventually gets sacked. But yeah, Nuno Espírito Santo has been replaced by Ange Postecoglou in less than 24 hours. But we'll see how this thing unfolds. And whatever happens, I'll bring it to you. Thank you so much for watching elPablo FC. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye and God bless.